know, you boo because you care. Look at this barn burner. Holy cow. 3-time champion Chris Forsberg and that NOS energy drink. All new Nissan Z versus the new livery of the Borla exhaust. Heat wave, feeling it. Into that first outside zone, transition into the second outside zone. Forsberg in that VR-powered Nissan Z. Matt Field, the Lean Customs logo on the roof. Into that final clip. Woo. Wow. Here we go, Matt Field out front. I'm expecting a big, nasty initiation. You know, he didn't just call himself the Beast for the Bay for nothing. Here we go. Or him get called that as Matt Field under the bridge. Into outside zone 2, fills all of outside zone 3. Great angle there from Matt Field. Forsberg chasing him down, tracking him down. Both are wrapping around that final inside clip and powering through the finish. So Matt, really good. I loved his execution on outside zone 3. I want to take a look at outside zone 2, a switch between camera shot and to the naked eye. Just
Chris Forsberg, one of the OGs, been out here since 2004, has always campaigned a Nissan since day one. Nissan power plant and Nissan chassis. Now coming past that inside clip, Chris Forsberg says the car's feeling good, that VR power that's got the GTR engine. Oh, and Castro, looks like he slides off, he slides to the side. That's gonna be an incomplete for Castro. And Forsberg completes on, and that will be a major advantage. Whoa, almost overshoots it there. Almost goes off into the dirt, but Castro wrote chop there, unfortunately for Jonathan Castro. He is out, but let's listen to this VR-powered NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z on GT Radials. That is not Hurst getting the victory. That it will be a one more time. Forrest Wang versus Chris Forsberg. Forrest Wang coming down the hill, initiating with that Yellow Speed Racing S15. Chris Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink, all new Nissan Z. Chris Forsberg, the GT Radials, gaining ground on him, going to the outside zone 2. Forrest Wang filling all of it. And Chris Forsberg navigating past that inside clip 2 and past the touch and go. And bringing it on in. So again, Forsberg will lead NOS Energy Drink. Nissan all-new Z on GT radial tires. Initiates into that front clip. Big angle there from Forsberg. Forrest Wang slides past. Big angle from Forsberg into that second outside zone. Just barely taps it now into that inside clip. Goes Chris Forsberg, pulling out of the keyhole. And Chris Forsberg separating Forrest Wang. Great angle from him. Wraps around that final inside clip. Now remember, we had that contact between Forsberg, Racing Energy, Kidnuts Laboratory, S15. The V8 got the 2J under the hood of S15. Little shimmy on initiation, coming into that inside clip. Just barely taps it. Now Chris Forsberg hammering down Forrest Wang. Big angle from Forrest Wang, gets in that second outside zone, fills all of it, barely dips that tire. Now Chris Forsberg dives in on that second inside clip. Now dropping into formation, great angle there from Forrest Wang, and bringing around that first and final inside clip. So that basically the driver's steward that would then handle any protests or any issues with Sean Adriano, who has competed in Formula Drift. All right, let's go back to the action. Here we go. Chris Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink, all new Z on GT Radials. Initiates in that first clip. Forrest Wang tucks back, a little bit of distance. Let's see if he can catch him. Chris Forsberg gets in that second outside zone. Forrest Wang comes up a little bit shy. Now, past that second inside clip in the keyhole, Forrest Wang, similar line to that of Chris Forsberg. And now bringing on home to that final clip. Chris Forsberg and Forrest Wang wrapping out this one more time battle. Swings that Ford Mustang into that inside clip. Chris Forsberg comes on by, buried in that smoke. Now coming up the hill, that first outside zone, James Dean dials it in, precision on the outside zone 2. Didn't get all of it, just got a little bit of it. Goes across the nose of the all-new Z. Looks like he might have taken out that headlight, the bumper. Now into that final inside clip, James Dean and Chris Forsberg. Contact was made, Ryan.
Yeah, no, definitely there on the
Jaeger, you know, talking to them and you know, Ben Hobson, the importance of them winning here in Pro Spec, but of course Pro. You got 6 championships between these two drivers. Chris Forsberg now out front. The NOS Engineering all-new Z, the bumper flapping, the GT radials are burning. Blasts out that first inside clip. Look at him pulling away. The attitude of James Dean's vehicle getting disrupted. Forsberg gets to that second outside zone. Transitioning now into that inside clip. James Dean, you see him pedaling it back. Now coming outside of the keyhole down, past that touch and go, and then the inside clip. Ryan, pretty well done. You know, does the contact come into play? You know, now guess what? He's in the finals. How cool is that?
It's amazing, and especially the old guard does not want to go away.
No.
They are still here to play.
No, here we go. Odi Bakshi's leading field suspension, GT radial. S15, big initiation there from him. Past that inside clip. Hammers back down on the throttle. Hits that first outside. Look at that front right tire lift up. Oh, some shimmy. You saw a quick little correction there from Odi Bakshi. Forsberg pounces at that like a cat. You can feel the force in that back end there for Odi Bakshi. And FD champion. Christopher Forsberg, NOS Engineering, all new Z GT radial tires coming down the hill. Initiates using all the course. Gets out that rubber. Look at Odi Bakshi. Tucks in that smoke signal. Back up the hill. Get the outside zone 1. Navigating outside zone 2. Forsberg fills all of it. Odi Bakshi is veering everywhere. Forsberg's going almost grinding in that GT radial door. Coming out of that keyhole.
Unreal.
Forsberg is dialed right now. Great chase job by Odi Bakshi, but Forsberg is coming down the hill. Here comes Von Ginn Jr., and it's a restart. I told you we'd save the lights, but the lights illuminate.
Oh, we were doing so good.
Oh, the first restart we've seen today.
Yeah.
So I'm all cool, man. Don't curse it. Don't curse it, brother.
That's just nerves, I think, right? Like, it's that moment.
Hey, everybody, turn on your lights. Forsberg Skinn. Who's winning here to celebrate 20 years of Formula Drift? Road Atlanta, round 2. Forsberg and Ginn. And a slow start, seeing parts fly off of Von Ginn Jr.'s vehicle. Chris Forsberg initiates around that inside clip. Ryan talked about it, pedaling back. Have a good chase run. But Chris Forsberg going to that second outside zone. Well executed by the force. Now into that second inside clip, out of the keyhole, the horseshoe. Will the pony of the Ford Mustang get him? GT regular Ditto tire. Von Ginn Jr. falling back a little bit there.
That was
holy cow.
That was very odd on the start, right?
Denofa, Forsberg, coming out of the chute. Denofa initiates. Forsberg giving himself maybe too much room here. Denofa, big angle, coming down into that first inside clip. Forsberg had one of the best chase runs earlier. There he goes, dropping into formation, gets into the pocket, but he falls back. You can see Denofa right there on the track edge.
Wow.
Right there on the track edge. So on initiation, it seemed that Forsberg dropped back a little bit, and he just couldn't. Forsberg out front, NOS Energy, all new Z, GT radial tires. Flicks it, initiates into that outside zone. Denofa tucks in. Look at this, Denofa maybe getting a little Nitto tire tread in the door of the all new Z. Transitions now into that second inside clip. Denofa banging doors with Forsberg into that second outside zone. In dominant fashion, Denofa goes tire to tire, tread to tread. On the wall. Chris Forsberg out front, been very smooth with that VR-powered all-new Z. Initiates into that bang. Nice job by Forsberg. Big angle, throws some more at it, and Rome is right there. Blends into the green wall. Chris Forsberg on massive line. Huge angle and transition to that first inside clip. Dialing it in. Rome taps it. Chris Forsberg on a heater of a lead run. Gets up the bank a little bit, but Rome Charpentier is right there. He was riding shotgun with Forsberg. Charge LS. Here comes RCP and Chris, the Force Forsberg. Rome initiates into the bank. High on the wall is Rome Charpentier. Chris Forsberg right there. Big angle. They're both going at it. Great line by Rome Charpentier out front. Forsberg navigates. Gets really close to Rome Charpentier. Diving in. Hitting that second inside clip. Are you kidding me? Come on now. Make some noise, Orlando. Woo!
That's what we're talking about. Great lead run and chase run by both.
One drivers are going to be bummed because they didn't get the win. So here we go. Let's go on to our next battle. Chris the Force Forsberg. This is hometown track here at E-Town. That NOS Energy Drink all-new Z going against Ola Jaeger in that Japan Auto Mark IV Toyota Supra. Forsberg filling all that outside zone, that VR-powered all-new Z. And again, teasing that all-new Nismo Z. He got to drive and drift that thing the other day. I don't know if you saw a little teaser video, but right now you're seeing him throw down for his town. Talking about EC, the East Coast. And Forsberg, Jaeger will go against either RCP, Rome Charpentier, or Alex Holovnia, the newcomer from Ukraine. Here we go. Taking a look at Ola Jaeger initiating in that first outside zone. Chris Forsberg applying the pressure. Good transition by Ola Jaeger. See him filling that second outside zone, just barely dipping in. Gets deeper into that second outside zone, the latter half. Now past the inside clip, both of them on it from that perspective. Again, want to take an overhead view, and then Jaeger just barely dipping that back left wheel in. And just giving
speed, and then you've got our traditional D-cell light.
Chris Forsberg initiating that first outside zone. Rome Charpentier giving chase. Looks like Chris Forsberg drops a little bit of a tire, not too much though. Good angle there. Oh, he's really getting off course, but Rome Charpentier not bothered at all. Into that first inside clip, the one and only Rome Charpentier kind of making some corrections. Now Forsberg into that last outside zone and crossing the finish line. I want to see the overhead. We'd love to win here at his home track. Rome Charpentier, Garagistic BMW E36, initiating that first outside zone, throwing it in, both of them. Here goes Rome in that second outside zone. Rome filling all of it. Chris Forsberg, look at him lunging forward, that VR-powered all-new Z. Past that inside clip, how is he going to handle? Going to that last outside zone. Man, the proximity of Chris Forsberg right there. Tough one to call, Ryan. Rome Charpentier and Chris Forsberg.
Well, you know, Chris,
up for both of them. Look at
certainly
that. Z on GT radial tires. Kyle Mohan here in his renewable lubricants. Mazatrix RX8. Forsberg comes out of the shoe blazing. Big angle fills all that outside zone 1. Coming to outside zone 2. Kyle Mohan dives into the nose. Good proximity. Has to back off a little bit now into outside zone 3. Fills all of it and almost gets to that red and white wall. And again, just showing you the driving prowess. Now that last outside zone. Keep in mind, if you hit that red and white, that is off course. So again, that red and white rumble strip on outside zone 4, that I know Chris Forsberg here, he's going to apply the pressure. He can't just kick back here, but again, you don't want to apply the pressure too much. Again, we've seen some great things from Kyle Mohan. We'd love to see him advance, but you know who doesn't? Chris Forsberg. Here we go, Kyle Mohan in that second outside zone. He drags that tail in. There goes Forsberg, surging in attack. So a little bit closer proximity and really mimicking that angle. Both of them getting that third outside zone in that last and final outside zone, keeping it off the wall. Both of them go in. Looks like Kyle Mohan does exceed a little bit. Look like almost Taguchi will lead, given that #1 qualifying position. So they did complete their sight laps. They got a little bit of a feel. Here goes Kazuya Taguchi in that first outside zone. The lights are on, and there it is. How is the smoke going to affect the drivers as well? Maybe it's minimized due to the wet conditions. Very smooth by Kazuya Taguchi. You see Chris Forsberg get into that pocket. Could be a little bit deeper here, but great proximity and really mimicking that angle. Looks like he drops back a little bit, but then slides in. Kazuya Taguchi deep in that last outside zone. Keep in mind the red and white rumble strip on outside zone 4. If you hit that, you're off course. So take that into consideration. And it could be still anybody. Here we go. Chris Forsberg. Looks like we got a clean start. Forsberg initiates NOS Energy Drink, Nissan Z, and Kazuya Taguchi tucks into the smoke. Here goes Chris. Big angle there from Forsberg. And oh, look at that. Kazuya Taguchi falls back. He has been absolutely flawless. But again, it might have hurt him as he's been sitting on the bench waiting to do battle with that #1 qualifying position. And Kazuya Taguchi gets inside of him. All right, so
oh boy,
here we go. Chris Forsberg will lead. Denofa giving chase. See how they handle that outside zone 1. Boom, right into it. Chelsea Denofa looks like he's banging doors with Chris Forsberg into that second outside zone. Here goes Forsberg. Denofa drops into formation after a quick little tap out of the gate. Really good proximity on his Denofa. Great angle and a good lead. Oh! A massive punt by Denofa. Denofa out front, Chris Forsberg in that chase position. Denofa, I feel, is going to get really aggressive here in that first outside zone. Gets a little bit into the dirt and a lot into the dirt, and that's going to be,
oh boy,
yeah. Okay, don't know what's going on. Okay, all right. Well, I think this is just to finish out this run here. I'm going to salvage the car. Oh boy, yeah. Okay. We got some extracurricular. Stay after class here. You boys are going to detention.
And yeah, so it looks like who is going against Frederick Osbo in the finals? Odie Bakshi coming through in that start chicane, now transitioning in, and then coming in that first outside zone. Chris Forsberg giving chase, transitioning now into that second outside zone. Goes Christopher Forsberg. Odie Bakshi, a bit of separation here between Odie Bakshi and Forsberg. Now coming to that last outside zone. Both of them transitioning fluidly into that last, again, zone.
You have to really wonder about the psychology of Odie Bakshi here. I mean, he's
in the finals. After a protest was implemented, here goes Chris on initiation, goes to that first outside zone. Odie Bakshi's dropping into formation. Big, massive angle here from Chris Forsberg. Looks like he comes in on the inside, short sheets it a little bit, now into that third outside zone. Coming to that last outside zone, here comes Forsberg, here comes Odie. And it looks like Forsberg comes across, and Odie barely misses the no. He's going to be chasing down Chris Forsberg in that all-new Nissan Z. The Nos Energy Drink Z initiates into the bank. Good angle from him. Jonathan Hurst needs to catch up here, and he does just that. Compromise some angle to get that proximity. And you can see how much higher Forsberg is. Now coming to the power alley, you can see him modifying and just manipulating that vehicle, getting it outside zone 2 and 3. Hurst does a really good job. Tries to dive in, not mimicking the angle, does have that proximity, and then Forsberg brings that last outside zone, a little bang on the door there from Hurst. They cross the finish line, throwing him out of the way, but again, a great way to start 32. Good in front. He's got those Vitor tires. Chris Forsberg on GT Radio, an all-new Nissan Z initiates into the bank. Good angle from, again, Jonathan Hurst. Now look at Forsberg. So you saw, whoa, throw some more angle at it. Now coming into that power alley, shoots off something. I don't know what the heck that was. Man, it looked like a drive shaft shooting off a pole. And now using all the course on that inside clip, now into that last outside zone. And rounds it out.
Tighten up the chase.
That's
pretty much it. I mean, they both had solid lead runs on their first run.
Hit outside zone 2.
Yep. Coming up power alley. Great initiation by Forsberg. Hurst a little late to launch into that first long outside zone. There we are looking at the telemetry there of both vehicles. That's awesome. Coming to the power alley, Jonathan Hurst diving in on outside zone 2 and then on 3. Good proximity. Like to mimic that angle though. And now in that final outside zone, there goes Forsberg filling all of it. Hurst does as well. But again, banners in those walls. You want to initiate no later than, so right here, watch, ready, boom, right there. That's the point, so point of no return. And Jonathan Hurst on initiation does a good job. Forsberg, he was aggressive, but has to fall back. You can see that ball, and Hurst hits the wall. That's going to be an incomplete for him. That is going to be all she wrote. The telemetry bottom left-hand corner, you can see obviously the mile per hour, but also the green, that's the G-force. So it's basically accel, decel. It goes green when they're accelerating. Imagine a weight in the middle of the car. New Nissan Z.
I'm scared.
Initiate into that first outside zone. Big angle there. Look at Chelsea Denofa. Just getting bathed in smoke. Great angle from Chris Forsberg into that power alley, into that second outside zone. Denofa going actually a little bit deeper. Good transition. He gets to the side of Forsberg, banging on his door. And now coming to that final outside zone. That was a really smart approach by Chelsea Denofa in the chase position. He didn't, I don't think they made contact. That GoPro was cheering him on. Got ED in the building. Yeet, yeet. All right, here we go. Chelsea Denofa, Chris Forsberg. Who's moving on to the Great Eight? Who's going against? Rome Charpentier. Is it Chelsea Denofa initiating strongly into the wall? Fights it off. Stays in it. Chris Forsberg back there quite a bit. Let's see Denofa coming into this power alley. Hammers down. Absolutely blazing in that second outside zone. Chris Forsberg. Oh! Denofa maxing out the angle into that inside clip. Down to that final outside zone. Wow. 2J under the hood, the VR under the hood of Forsberg's vehicle.
Happy to see the giant wing back on Wang's car.
I know you're a big wing fan, gang.
Yeah, big wing fan.
Okay, here we go. Chris Forsberg will lead, Force Wang giving chase. Let's see how they manage going into this first inside clip. Big angle there from Forsberg, just a little bit more than Force Wang now dialing in that first outside zone. You can see Force Wang trying to navigate through that smoke. Forsberg gets out to that second outside zone. You see Force Wang getting a little bit closer in proximity. A little bit tighter of a line. Now Forsberg going to the last outside zone. Forsberg getting into the dirt.
And that allows Forrest Wang to gain that proximity and get to the side. No offense to other projects and people I work with, but Forrest Wang goes across the nose with a Manji entry, but Forsberg not phased. So again, that's something that the spotter needs to tell him and inform him. Now Forrest Wang in that second outside zone. Forrest way off course, digging deep, but that again, that does allow Chris with that proximity into that last outside zone. Now there goes Forrest in that last outside zone. Forsberg right there on the door of that Yellow Speed Racing S chassis. Drink Nissan Z and Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay. Borla exhaust. Lean. Oh, holy cow! Look at that angle from Chris Forsberg. What that? I've never seen anything like it. He took a way shallow line. We gotta run that back. But here comes Matt Field. Looks like he is getting out of sorts here. Chris Forsberg into that last outside zone. That was an absolutely wild initiation. Talking about Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay. Chris the Force Forsberg. Matt Field initiates. That wide swing goes through the 3-2-1 cone, pass that inside clip into that first outside zone, the smaller of the three. Into that second outside zone goes Matt Field, the Borla exhaust Corvette. Now oh, look at that. Just absolutely settled. And now into that last outside zone. Forsberg, great proximity, but Matt Field with that really well done. Forsberg piloting that all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z GT radial tires. Here we go. Nick Novak initiates. Forsberg jumps up with that VR-powered Z. Oh, no! The wall consumes another vehicle. That was...
Novak's got to finish.
Novak does have to finish. That was just what happened there. Like he got squirrely and just jumped up. And look at this, Novak talking about this changing the guards, you know, and it's not changing the guards because Chris, it's just generations. In the all-new NOS Energy Drink Z against the Field Suspension GT Radial Enos Oil S15. Chris Forsberg initiates into that first inside bank. Quickly gets to that wall, sticks it high. Simon Olsen now, ooh, a little wavering there, and not being thrown off by Chris Forsberg. Big angle by Forsberg, passing initiation into that second outside zone. Here comes Forsberg and Olsen. Now Forsberg will navigate past that second inside clip. There goes Olsen, surges in attack, has to straighten out, makes a correction, and they both cross the finish line. Ryan, I'll tell you what, for the dial-up, come on Foresttown, says Chelsea Denofa. He is the biggest, the mayor of Foresttown. Here we go. Chris the Force Forsberg chasing down Simon Olsen. Simon Olsen needs to win. Chris Forsberg, if he gets the win, Chelsea Denofa is your 2023 champion. Simon Olsen looking strong, really high. Here comes Chris Forsberg. Chris the Force Forsberg transitions past the inside clip. Simon Olsen pulling away. Watch Chris Forsberg slowly inch his way. Both of them dragging bumper on the outside zone too. Is this the run for glory for Forsberg and Chelsea Denofa? You can hear the banter. Yeah. You can hear the banter. Let's lay out. Again, if Chris Forsberg gets the win, Chelsea Denofa is your 2023 Formula Trip champion.